Shut up. I'd like to call the January 13th school committee meeting to order. And on the agenda is old business, the superintendent search firm selection. So we're here to vote on, take another vote on who we want to choose for the superintendent search. Is there any other discussion or any other comments?
I'll just make one comment. I think both firms would be fine. We've used them both in my memory. I have no problems with either one. I understand that, correct, Mayesk is a little cheaper. That's correct. To me, they're 1 and 1A. And I'm not concerned about who's gonna screen, vet our next superintendent, whatever committee we decide to appoint, and we will do all of them. And they're facilitators, and I have the utmost confidence in either one. So that's all.
We're most likely going to be deciding vote. I spent some time after the meeting, and I spoke to two of the references on the mask, and both of them had nothing but great things to say about their experience with them. I spoke to Silver Lake, and I spoke to Nantucket. As expected, they gave gleaming reports, as I would expect that too, but it just gave me some further confidence that I'm confident to use them. The one thing I will say is that, I mentioned it last meeting, it's difficult to figure out exactly how much each one is going to cost, because there's a fixed cost, and the mask initial cost is higher than NASDAQ. Once we a la carte some of the other items from NASDAQ, it may get up to the mask, but I do think mask will be a little bit more expensive. Recognizing that, I'm still comfortable based upon our existing relationship with mask, and I'm not sure it really matters. But we do have to pay expenses, I think, on either travel expenses of our consultant, and it turns out the consultant for mask is in Scituate. So I don't think it's a big.
There are other people on it. I mean, there's probably like 3 people on the search, like from NASDAQ, from what I remember.
Last time we had 2.
2.
It was Carolyn and Drew.
And I have no idea how much the travel expenses would be, probably very minimal, but just goes to.
Well, I know we have budget problems, obviously.
Yeah.
But either one, in my opinion, is going to be budget friendly to do it. So I think we need to get going.
And I think even looking at the a la carte costs, mask is more expensive. If we went, with both, looking at side by side comparison. I mean, it's a lot more money. And I think if they're both equally good search firms, I think we have to think of how much money we're going to spend. We're going to get the same product in the end. Who's money?
I'll make one other comment, if I may. I don't know the exact relationship between different facets of the mask, but they are our accreditation people. And I think goodwill is always a good thing.
It's NASDAQ.
NASDAQ, whatever it is.
Well, the
Yeah, okay. Am I
So it's-
mistaken?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
That
I did
was
the
one
same
of the
thing.
things about mask, was the goodwill towards mask for all the help and support they've given us since.
And
it's been tricky.
And we do
Right,
pay,
but I
we
think
pay a
it-
membership fee to have access to mask. Well, we haven't used it until recently when we had reason to reach out to them. And then my personal perspective, I didn't even know that they were a resource until I was aware they were a resource. And I think it's as required of all school committee members, they offer that charting the course, which was very helpful. And from there, I was like, wow, this is a great wealth of information that they can provide to us. So again, that's the reason I feel that I would be comfortable with mask. I agree. It's gonna be more expensive. That's something to consider for sure. Probably a difference of a couple $1,000 in a month. Yeah.
That was gonna be my question, what is the difference? Is it like 1,000, 5,000?
I think worst case scenario was like 50. Worst
Like 5 or
case.
6,000.
That's included, five or six thousand.
With
That's with the à la carte
That's,
stuff?
and what's the other, NASDAQ, what's the?
No,
other?
no, the difference between the two.
Oh, the two is 5,000.
About that, yeah. I mean,
They
if
get
it was
both.
like under 1,000, I would say, yeah, fine.
But again, it's hard to
Big amount.
it's hard to compare because they're not offering the exact same service at the same price. But
I think.
one of the big
in
things is
end, though,
printing.
It is basically the same
You know.
service.
But one of the big items is printing a brochure. For me, I'm not sure printing a brochure is that important. I don't know. If I'm looking for a job, I don't know how often I'm looking for a print. I'm going online to gather that. So the printing is a sizable expense with both, so that wouldn't bring.
Is that something that was done in the past?
It is something that's done in the past, and I can tell you over the years, this will be my 5th superintendent search. And it gets out on the internet, and people from all over the country see it and are attracted to Scituate. And we will get applications from all over the country. And I think the brochure is critical for that.
The print brochure? This is the print brochure.
We're going to have both. We need both, because we're going to have to send it to people as well. I mean, both of these companies will, you know, once it's out there, we'll have 50 candidates in 50 seconds.
Right.
Yeah.
And regardless of who we use. So, again,
I mean, I think even the à la carte, the difference between what Mass and NASDAQ are offering, it's a lot more. I don't know why they charge.
I don't think we can lose either way. So it's just a question of, you know, what 3 people the majority has.
It's gonna be you,
The
Mike.
four,
Yeah,
the four of you should have figured this out last week, but I'm
Yeah.
happy to be here.
Thank you. We just wanted to, yeah. Anybody feel comfortable making a motion?
Get
Make the
these
same motion
comments?
I made.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, go ahead.
I just think that we've used the other company twice already, and that right now, it would probably be time for a change. And $5,000, and granted, we are in a budget crisis, but I think in the long run, we may end up with something.
Well, I think no matter what company we go with, we're gonna get the same applicants. Because it goes out,
Mhm.
you know, the
Right.
job, the posting goes out. And anybody who's interested in looking for a new job at that time is gonna apply. So it's gonna be the same pool of applicants, I think. And it does, like Mike said, it comes down to the committee, that having been on the search committee before, it really is the committee that makes the decisions. The NESDEC, you know, they present all the applicants, and they help the committee choose who they're, you know, who they wanna, like, set aside, or, you know, they help you weed through.
They answer questions. They don't give,
They don't tell you.
They
how
tell
to-
you recommendations.
they
They
don't
just-
give opinions.
No,
They
no.
answer questions.
And they help, they're really good at helping you stay focused on what the goal is. And I was impressed.
Like I said, I don't think we could lose.
Right, and I think both of them will do the same job equally well.
You're probably right. I just think it's sending the message of change, like just to, you know, it's 2 in a row that we weren't completely happy with, and especially the current situation with how things are ending. And we can kind of send a message that we're like really clean, fresh start. That's my, because I think you're right, all your points are right, like you're right.
Yeah.
The other one's a little more money, and, you know, they're gonna come to the same conclusion, it's committee-based selection. So it's really more about a message than like an actual product.
And I think right now would be a strong message to get out to the district.
So my opinion is, that point of 2 in a row has nothing to do with who we hire. It's on us. And,
And you're probably right, and it's really just about perception. Yeah.
It is about perception. I mean, but
That's my whole reason, it's perception. You can't argue the money and
Right.
they'll do the same stuff.
But I do like what Peter had to say about the relationship with this organization. And you do have to communicate going forward with this group. You are doing the answer questions, they're answering to you, and Peter's saying already he feels comfortable with this new group. So, and at the end of the day, 5,000 out of 50 million is nothing. So you just handed it out to Paul Donlin last week, so you can't be saying something about $5,000 when his contract was just given $8,000. So at the end of the day, yeah, I mean, we can't be fighting over $5,000 when you just handed it out without even thinking about it.
When it's the leadership of the district. As my mother always said, you get what you paid for.
It's more about change. I mean, you
Yeah.
need,
Well, what Pete,
it's a perception for the district right now, and there's a lot of things up in the air. And going back to the same firm that you just used with, for the last month.
True,
is-
but it's, I feel like we are, like I said, we're gonna get the same applicants. And if you have two equal products in front of you and one is more money, why would you pay more money to get the same service? Especially in the time, when, we don't have too much money.
and we've paid tens of thousands of dollars to Mass over the years and not used it. So.
But whose fault is that?
Nobody's.
I think it was a function of, in my personal experience, because I can speak to, I wasn't aware that they were a resource. I'm not sure whose responsibility, perhaps that was my responsibility, that I should have known them, that they were a resource. Once I realized and, I guess, recognized that, I pick up the phone and I call them. And they will help as best they can.
That's right.
So
But
now
we
you have
do-
a
we do-
connection with them and they know the
we
district
do
and what
pay
you're
them.
looking for.
We do pay them an annual, I think we pay like $4,000 a year, probably roughly. something like that. So, yes, we pay them right now. So I wish that there was some discount that, but I think most school committees are members of MASC.
They give you a discount if you're a member. You know, will they take off something?
Doubt
for
it.
members?
I doubt it.
No, but
No.
the one thing that I did, was notified of is that, because or if any district is in a budget crisis, you don't have to pay, I mean, whatever it is, $15,000, you don't have to pay for it all this year, we can spread it out over 2 years. For whatever that's worth, I'm sure NASDAQ would do the same thing. Again, it's not a huge amount of money, but it is what it is. I agree with everything that's said,
Yeah.
We're gonna get the same
Everybody's making
candidates.
great points.
We're gonna get the same candidates. No matter which one it is.
Get it over with.
It's gonna be Mike.
Gee whiz.
Well.
Should have stayed in rehab.
It's gonna drive me through rehab.
I'll make a,
Yeah.
I'm going right back from here.
so I would make a motion to, choose MASC as the superintendent search firm for the Scituate Public Schools.
Here a second.
Second for discussion. Anything
I
else?
think we discussed it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed?
I'm not done. So, do you remember the last time we used math? 4 or
think-
5 superintendents ago? Not
I
yet.
believe it was, trying to recall her name.
Suma.
Suma, if I'm not mistaken. Could be wrong. And she was exactly what we
I'm
needed.
not worried about the candidate.
Exactly
Just
what
more
we
the-
needed at that time.
I was thinking just more the experience. 'Cause it was-
Every
Assuming math
search
business.
has been, in my view, has been a good search, an excellent search for everybody, And the key is the 14 people we put on the committee.
Yeah.
That's the whole key. To bring us 10 candidates that we can whittle down to like 5 and then 3 or whatever we do.
So I'll say yes. There you go. You got voted.
Okay, great, awesome.
So,
Move to
motion
adjourn.
passes, mask.
Oh, comments from this? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Any other comments?
All right.
Move to adjourn.
Well,
Second.
Okay.
all right.
Not that I'm in a hurry. Is
All those in
there any
favor?
other business?
No, we had signing of the documents.
That's all right.
Great, thank you.
All right.
Good
Thank
job.
you.
Good job.
How can we apply to be on the committee?
Well, first, we're gonna meet with the mass. And, what they'll come here and they'll do, like, look at the community, look at the student public schools, and, I mean, I can.
It'll be a committee of school committee members, administrators, teachers, parents,
Department heads.
parents, and usually 1 or 2 community members.
Yeah.
Generally, one of the selectmen is on this committee as a courtesy.
Last time we had one student.
And a
Yeah,
student.
And she was actually
Representative.
very good.
So
She was great.
we try to
Our
get
two
everybody in the
friends
Scituate
probably
community
Yeah.
to have a voice.
Yeah, I know there are a couple people in the community that have already expressed interest, so.
And I'm not sure if this is, selectmen are usually,
Email can be
Yeah.
used.
are they vote, I don't know if they're voting members, but the last time, John Denny, he was great, very involved,
He did very good.
but I don't think he voted. I could be wrong.
No, he did.
Did he?
Yeah.
So, it'll be a good committee, and then it's on us.
That's right.
Put it on the people that are in the front row, so we can't complain.
Yeah.
You'll find a way, Lori.
You chose that person.
That's right.
Yeah, key motion, I second it.